Let's take our seats. Asante sana. You all agree it is good to have a deputy. Saa zingine anakutetea. Distinguished taxpayers, I am very happy to be with you as we celebrate this year's National Taxpayers Day, a very unique and special moment in our national calendar, whose significance needs to be fully appreciated by those of us in this room, the many taxpayers across Kenya, and every Kenyan, for that matter. This occasion is not intended to focus on the success of the National Revenue Administration body in performing its constitutional and statutory function, because in any case, that is their responsibility. Rather, this day is special because as a nation, we are taking the moment to appreciate exemplary individual and corporate citizens for their patriotism and commitment to the performance of their civic obligation to pay tax in our country. Our economy has been navigating unprecedented turbulence for a while now due to factors beyond our control, including devastating shocks emanating from geopolitical as well as extreme climate events, a pandemic, and recession in between, which cumulatively led to the lower performance and high inflation. What stands out as extraordinary development is that even during this period of serious difficulty, our revenue performance continues on the path of growth, indicating that our economy is demonstrating enormous resilience. This shows that Kenyan workers and enterprises remained hardworking and dedicated, and that our taxpayers did not use global and local economic challenges as an excuse to evade the performance of their fundamental duty. It also shows that Kenyan taxpayers defied many expectations, not just to survive, but to thrive and enhance their contribution to national development. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why we are here to celebrate. There are many who would have created all manner of excuses not to contribute and not to live up to their obligations, but they chose to do the right thing. And that is why we are here to celebrate all the taxpayers, small and big, individual and corporate, today. A year ago, I announced the beginning of a new era in our national economic governance and management, which required us to live within our means and invest in production and productivity. I also declared that the National Tax Administration mechanism had to change and become more facilitative, service-oriented, and supportive of compliant taxpayers. The best way of supporting compliant taxpayers is by engaging them in positive and affirmative ways, which make it easier and simpler for them to remit taxes, and by expanding the tax base through the registration and facilitation of more eligible taxpayers to enhance burden sharing. Events like the National Taxpayers Week are essential to the achievement of the taxpayer engagement objectives if they are not treated as mere annual rituals, and are undertaken with a measure of meaningful positive interaction between the Kenya Revenue Authority and their clients, all of us who are taxpayers. As I announced at the last National Taxpayers Day, the time has come for the Kenya Revenue Authority to undertake a comprehensive culture change to make it aligned with the revenue mobilization imperatives of a new constitutional dispensation, governing platform, and strategic realities, and of course, the economic conditions under which we live. This is the spirit in which the KRA recently recruited specially trained revenue service assistants as a move to enhance the revenue mobilization capacity and taxpayer compliance through service-oriented, citizen-centric methods of facilitating voluntary compliance in keeping with our fundamental commitment to decriminalize enterprise and enable all levels of business from micro, small, medium enterprises all the way to global multinational companies to meet their tax obligations. The KRA must therefore continuously demonstrate a singular commitment to new service-oriented values and signal a departure from the abuses and excesses of previous times, which only served to elicit resentment and encourage evasion while facilitating wastage, sometimes even theft, embezzlement, and other corrupt activities. KRA, I am sure, now knows that it is possible to be courteous, kind, and gentle to taxpayers, and at the same time become even more effective and efficient in tax collection. I am sure they know that. This applies to all persons in public authority when dealing with members of the public, all of us who have public authority. What is required is the exercise of greater imagination, commitment to national values and principles of governance, and the use of technology and innovation to improve service delivery. And I note with appreciation that the KRA has been undertaking reforms in this direction, which include the use of technology to integrate the taxpayer revenue administration systems to all real-time and automatic exchange of actionable data. And I want to commend what has been achieved in this space between the KRA and all the other people in between. Our decision to significantly enhance efficiency and integrity in the provision of public services to citizens by digitizing over 13,000 government services has gone a long way to enhance revenue performance. Monthly revenues, for example, from fees have already risen to about 8 billion from 2 billion monthly, an increase of close to 400% on the e-citizen platform. As we can all see, the interventions leading to improved performance are efficiency, integrity, and it is also service-oriented. Make it easier for people to pay tax, and this is exactly what we have done with the e-citizen platform to make it seamless for people to pay their tax. In fact, what we agreed with KRA is that it is not necessary to wait until 20th for people to calculate what amount of tax they need to pay. If they can pay taxes instantly, that would go a long way in making it possible for KRA to collect our taxes and for manipulation not to occur on matters to do with the tax. We all agree that if somebody stays with your money for a whole month, they will begin to figure out what to do with it before they send it to you. And sometimes it is none of their choices, but it is just the temptation of having money within. So the sooner we can collect our taxes, the less the temptation on those who are having this money, and the more efficient we become. I'm sure members of parliament were wondering why we said that certain taxes should be collected within 24 hours. So they were asking, what is the magic with these 24 hours? We were just trying to assist many corporates who said, if you can collect your money sooner, then we will all be happy. And there are many companies who are very happy that we are collecting our taxes sooner, faster, much more efficiently, and eliminating the temptation for that money to be used in other ways. I will repeat this. Not only is it possible to be efficient and effective while being courteous and considerate, it is the only way to serve taxpayers and other members of the public. It is not necessary for effective revenue collection to be unpleasant or demeaning to taxpayers or members of the public. We can combine efficiency, effectiveness with courtesy and being handling our clients in a courteous way. The implementation of a national digital identity framework, which I must say is already underway, will also go a long way in facilitating the collection of relevant data for revenue mobilization. In fact, it is our intention that in December, next month, we will formally launch our national digital ID framework that Kenyans can now identify themselves digitally, and you do not have to carry your ID. You can have it on your phone. I recognize the cardinal obligation of government to utilize all revenues prudently and efficiently in the service of our citizens. This commitment stands, and we are committed to do so with maximum transparency and maximum accountability. This is why I use every moment to publicize what government is doing for the people of Kenya, because that is how our taxes are meant to be used, should be used, and the people of Kenya are encouraged to keep us in check as we spend their resources. I will in due course provide a more elaborate formal account to sustain this engagement and provide comfort that none of the resources committed to my charge is being wasted or mismanaged or stolen. The bottom-up economic transformation agenda identifies the significant improvement of productivity in key areas as an urgent priority for national economic governance efforts. Such improvements require immense investments, and the resources to invest come from the revenues we collect as taxes. There is simply no space for wastage or corruption, because that would be the recipe for disastrous failure. Our tolerance for corruption, therefore, is absolute zero. In line with this, today, the Cabinet approved Public Audit Amendment Bill 2023, which will enhance the Auditor General's independence and transparency to ensure proper utilization of public resources through audits, and also provide power for fraud investigation. This has been a challenge in the past, but we have said as a government that believes in accountability, we must give the institution of the Auditor General's office the necessary capacity, leeway, and latitude for them to hold every government agency and every government ministry and the whole of government accountable to the people of Kenya through audits, and make sure that we spend the people's money efficiently. It is important that our government, or that as government, we communicate this commitment clearly, because the citizens and taxpayers deserve to know it as a matter of right. Our taxpayers are supporting national transformation by financing the provision of public services, strategic investments, and our other national revenue sovereignty requirements. Over the past year, there has been undeniable improvement of our revenue performance thanks to the efforts of Kenya Revenue Authority. This is partly due to enhanced performance by KRA, which is commendable, even though there remains vast room for both quantitative and qualitative improvements. And as you heard from the chair of the Finance Committee in Parliament, many Kenyans have ideas, many institutions are stepping forward to work with us on how we can raise revenues locally. And I am very proud. A while ago, the conversation was how much of the debt is allocated to even children who are not yet born, public debt. I am happy that this time around we are having a conversation about not debt, but taxes. That is significant improvement. We have moved away from how much debt we are accumulating to how much tax we are paying. I think that is, we are in the right place. We are having the right conversation. And it is because I did commit to the country that we are going to begin the journey to wean ourselves from living beyond our means, living within our budgets. If we must cut down on our budgets so that we can live within our means and avoid the slippery path towards accumulating debts. Instead, have the conversation not about how much debt we are accumulating, but about how much taxes we are paying. And we are well in that conversation as we talk. The undeniable credit for our sustainable economic resilience and continued ability to meet our local and international obligations, provide services and invest in economic transformation goes to taxpayers who have remained outstanding in their commitment to the strength of our economy, well-being of the people, and sustainable development of our country. We celebrate all our taxpayers today. I know we will celebrate those who have done very well, but we must also celebrate all those who have made their contribution to where we are today. I urge all Kenyans to respect and honor those amongst us who perform their part in supporting national development by voluntarily paying their taxes, and encourage those who have not to register and obtain KRA personal identification numbers and join the ranks of our patriotic mashujaa who keep the wheels of our development in motion by paying their part of taxes. As always, I remain committed to lead from the front on this matter of great national importance, to pay my taxes when they fall due and submit my tax return on time as is required. I will continue to lead from the front and expect everybody to walk in that journey. I must also commend all the actors in this space. I know, for example, in the education sector, we have made a huge commitment. In fact, because of the centrality of education as an equalizer, and because of the importance of our human capital as the biggest resource, most important resource we have as a nation, we have focused extensively on funding education. If you compare last year, the education budget last year was 545 billion. This year, including what we have factored in the supplementary that is now in Parliament, it is improving from 545 billion to 690 billion, a whole 145 billion additional money for our education. And this is deliberate. It is deliberate because we believe every child in Kenya should have a chance at life by making sure that they have access to education. Our budget to TSC has increased by about 20 billion because we are hiring additional teachers. 56,000 teachers are on our payroll, additional teachers this year. We are increasing the money going to our universities by a whole 48 billion. So what I see in the horizon is an improved human capital that we have developed. The money that is supposed to go to our TVETs and our universities and the space outside TSC is about this year 252 billion. Last year, it was 204 billion. So in just that space, we are increasing by 48 billion that is going to go into that space. And already, contrary to reports all over the place, we have released 62 billion out of that 252 billion. And I want to commit to the country that we are committed, we are serious, we are determined to make sure that we fund our education appropriately, contrary to what we have seen in the past, where universities were languishing in debt and were completely unable to deliver on their mandate. The Ministry of Education, Ministry of Finance will ensure that we educate all our children. It is a commitment that we have made. It is a commitment we intend to keep. I want to congratulate all the exemplary taxpayers who have been recognized under various categories. Your work is admirable and your contribution historic and transformative. Well done to all of you who are being recognized today. Keep it up, and let us see you again next year performing better. And for those of us who are not in this category, let us strive so that we're in this category next year. I want to ask KRA to think about the scripture. There was a lady who gave an offering of, I think it was 2 cents. And Jesus said she had given the most because she gave everything she had. So I think consider the smaller guys who give 100% of what is due from them. It may be small, but they have done 100% of what is due from them. Maybe these big boys, maybe they are doing 80% of what is due. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying maybe, I'm just making a proposition. So let's look at the small people also who meet their obligation and give 100% of their taxes. Let me encourage all of us that what KRA is doing is not about KRA, it's about us. It is our responsibility, all of us as Kenyans, to make sure that each one of us pays tax. I got a very interesting message yesterday from a patriotic Kenyan, and I sent it to the Commissioner General of KRA yesterday. Si ulipata Bwana Watanga, you know? about a Kenyan who is saying, look, there is this company here who don't pay tax, and they threaten people because there are some big people, it belongs to some senior guys. And so I sent the contact to the KRA CG, and I told him, however big, however senior, however powerful the owners of that company, they must pay tax like all other Kenyans. And that nobody should threaten KRA using their positions, using their connections, using their power for them to avoid paying tax. We must all pay tax. And once we have paid tax, let us demand from government that our taxes are used in the proper manner. They are not stolen, they are not corruptly used, they are used in the proper manner. I am really looking for that day when we all pay tax and demand from government that that tax is used properly. We have given a target to KRA of 3 trillion this year. I know it is achievable. I know it's doable. And next year, I know we can do 4 trillion. I am looking at the day when we will not have any fiscal deficits. And it is not too far from now. Because if everybody paid their bit, we would not need all the fiscal deficits that we have, if everybody paid their bit. There is still a lot of money out there. There are still many people who are not paying tax. Slowly but surely we will speak to them, we will talk to them, we will encourage them, we will work with them until we all pay tax. That's all we need to do. The rest can be achieved. So, and as I have said, it doesn't have to be punitive, it doesn't have to amount to harassment, but we must be firm, we must be decisive, and everybody must keep their part of the bargain. And that is my encouragement to all of us as Kenyans, that our independence, our sovereignty is when we can manage our own affairs, when we can meet all our obligations, when we can pay for all the services that are due to us and fund all that we need in Kenya. And I am very confident that that is doable if we do this together. We will continue to work with all the other stakeholders. We will continue to leverage on technology. I'm very happy with what I see around the technology space. The taxes that are now being collected using technology, as I said earlier, we are looking at up to 400% increase in taxes that are being collected using technology. Progressively, as we digitize government services, as we make sure that all other avenues of government are coming on the digital space, I am very confident that we will collect all the taxes that are due to the government of Kenya, and we will all benefit from the use of those taxes, and we will begin the journey to wean ourselves out of the appetite for debt all over the place. Let me also say that we are making significant progress with our diplomatic relations, engagement with our development partners, engagement with multilateral development banks. We are making a lot of progress with our DFIs, the engagement between government of Kenya and the understanding of what is required of us and what our obligations are and what our commitments are very progressive. I want to commend Treasury for leading the way, working with our multilateral development partners, working with our bilateral development partners to make sure that we secure the interests of Kenya and make sure that we are pushing on our progress. And I am very confident that that space is being managed very well under the leadership of Professor Ndung'u and his team, and all the people in that space, and continuously they will engage with the different ministries to make sure that we project the right image of Kenya and we manage our resources and affairs in a way that is transparent, accountable, and in a progressive manner so that we can unlock the huge potential that exists in our country. I want to tell every Kenyan listening to me that we have a great country. And this country is going to go places. I am very confident we are going to transform Kenya into a country where all of us will feel confident and all of us will be proud to be Kenyan. That is the commitment that I make to everybody here. And each and every one of us, as I said yesterday, must pull their weight. There are opportunities out there. There are opportunities we are rolling out. We want every Kenyan to calibrate their place, make their contribution, look at the opportunities that are available, appropriate those opportunities so that each and every one of us can make a contribution to taking Kenya forward, and work with whatever interventions we are working on as government to take our country forward. So thank you very much. God bless you all, and God bless our great country, Kenya. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. One more round of applause for His Excellency. And as we all are aware, today is the Taxpayers' Day, and we have an award that we would like to present to them. And at this point, Your Excellency, with your permission, I'll invite Angeline Mutua, who's the Chief Manager HR, who is going to read out